Hey, want to learn astrology? Want to be able to look at the daily chart and apply it to your own natal chart? The Fun Astrology 101 course is made to help you do that. Would love to have you learn astro speak with me, so check it out at funastrology.com. Welcome in to the Tuesday, November 12th Fun Astrology podcast. Thomas Miller, thanks so much for joining us. Got a couple of things that we're going to do today. I think I'm going to call one little audible. Yesterday I said we'd take a look at the mystic rectangle. It has 4 points, and that's quite a bit to go through. However, we went through every bit of it in the weekly video that is on YouTube on the Fun Astrology podcast channel. So it's one of the most favorable dynamic aspects in astrology. It's two trines connected by two sextiles. That's two 120-degree lines, that's the long side, and two 60-degree lines, that's the short side, all working cooperatively and harmoniously together. And the nodes of the moon are at the table here, so it really has some karmic ties about it, some karmic path stuff about it. Pluto, the planet of transformation, that's one of the corners. So why don't you watch the video? Just hop over to the YouTube channel of Fun Astrology, and it was the weekly video that was released on Saturday afternoon. That way you can see it too. What I wanted to camp out today is one aspect, the only other thing going on up in the sky. Well, two things, because the moon is now in Aries. That happened at 1:25 this morning Eastern Time. But then at 8:20 this morning, Mercury, the planet of communications, transportations, we listed them yesterday, siblings, neighbors, etc., is in a square aspect to retrograde Saturn in Pisces. And both of these are outside the mystic rectangle. So if you watch that video, we're not overlapping by doing these. So this was the way that I thought, well, we can get all of it in this way. So today I just wanted to do some basic cookbook synthesis on these two planets in this aspect, because I think we could have some fun with it and make it a little bit of a teaching point of what you can do on these daily transits. This is different astrology than looking at your natal chart. We use some of the same premises, but it's totally different application. In the natal chart, it represents major themes of our karmic path and our construction and how we would communicate. But what we do every day is we look at what vibe might be out there today, because this is what is over our heads in the sky for everybody on the planet today. So let's start with the theme builder, the outer planet, Saturn. It's in the middle of Pisces. That means that it is also being influenced by the next water sign. It's the middle decanate, the middle third. So Cancer is also influencing Saturn. So to me, Pisces and Cancer together means hyper-intuition. And that's regardless of the square or whether it's whatever kind of aspect it is. Doesn't matter. These two are influencing Saturn. So we have a lot more intuition around our karmic path, because Saturn, what's cookbook number 1? Lord Karma. What else is Saturn in the cookbook? Well, delays, destruction, death, all of that stuff, but also discipline, teacher, taskmaster, the idea of mastering life's challenges, structure, organization, longevity, alignment with our soul path. It's like the computers that fly the airplane have autocorrectors on them, flight correctors, so the pilot can literally just set the thing for its destination, but yet the wind blows and the airplane gets a little bit off track, and that automatic pilot brings it right back on, so that when the pilot wakes up and we get it, over your destination, oh, here we are. Okay, well, yeah. No, it's not. But, the idea is really they can set it and forget it, because the course correction is always working. That's all Saturn. Now, it's in a square, so we know that there's a little bit of tension with Mercury. Mercury is in Sagittarius. It's not quite as happy in Sagittarius. It really prefers the other side of the chart, which is its home turf of Gemini. But it, too, is in the middle, or it wouldn't be an exact aspect. It's at 12 degrees Sagittarius, Saturn, 12 degrees Pisces. So our friend Mercury is also being influenced by Aries. Sagittarius and Aries are at the table with Mercury. So a little bit of aggression, possible conflict. Communication could get a little bit heated. So Mercury rules communication, transportation. It also is over our siblings, family relationships. You could even extrude that out. It's also our neighbors. So in other words, close-in connections, let's say. And all of those areas of our life could possibly get a little bit triggered by this aspect. Another one that often gets overlooked with Mercury just because you think communication and transportation, but it rules the mind. And it also rules Gemini, the divided sign, the air sign of the mind. So this is our whole mental construct. And that could also be influenced by this square. What window of time? Well, for about the past week and for about the next week. Whenever then I see Mercury in either a square, an opposition, or sometimes a conjunction, I always think about count to 5. Watch those areas that could be vulnerable. You could get upset in traffic. That could happen any time, I know, but here's amplification. You could lash out. You could lash out verbally, email, text, social media post. Easy to do, especially now with emotions running strong. Watch that. Be a little more careful in traffic. And yet, then, you can also trust that autopilot of your soul's path, that course corrector, that master teacher, yes, Lord Karma, is keeping you on track. So if you're especially going through a tough area related to one of those Mercury characteristics, then you can think about that as well and realize that Saturn is there to help, really. I think when we want to be on our path, Saturn is there to help. When we're not on our path and Saturn wants to get our attention, that's when it can get a little bit thick. So that's one way to look at this aspect and how to synthesize these transit charts. Hope that helps. All right, here's the game plan for the rest of the week. I'm going to take tomorrow off. There's nothing exact in the sky. And then Kristin is going to come back on Thursday and talk about the Taurus moon, the full moon, and the trine aspect with Pluto that it makes before it goes void, of course. And then on Friday, I'll be back to howl at the moon. I had a little heart flare-up over the weekend. Not bad, everything is fine, but I just want to be prudent and throttle back a little bit this week. So thank you for that space. Have a great one tomorrow and today, and I'll see you back on Friday. Kristin here on Thursday. Love you guys. Thanks for listening.